What happened? Oh, you're muted, Zach. You're muted, buddy. The man with the most equipment is struggling this morning, guys. I've already prayed for him twice. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Service Alliance community. Yeah, the mic went out like midway through that thing. I'm like, oh crap! So it turns back on, and then it only
good?
half turned on.
But you know what's good, Zach? Even though I wasn't there, you were off key on your good morning, and Jesus just saved you from embarrassing yourself. You did good. You did good.
Oh man. Selling me out, Jeremy. Selling me out. I busted that one out again today.
I'm gonna have to go check out what you're doing behind my back.
I told you about this one. You know what cover it is. You've seen it before. I pulled it out again this morning. So I spent the weekend, doing some hard indoor riding. It was interesting. Riding a bicycle inside, and yeah, it was exhausting. It was a fitness test or whatever.
Yeah. It
brutal.
Sounds like having a colonoscopy, in my opinion, my friend. I mean,
might have kind of been like that.
I mean, I appreciate discipline, which sometimes I lack, but that's setting the bar kind of high, Zach. I'm assuming it's in your basement.
It is.
Yeah, really attractive setting in there, can help you ponder life and dream.
No, it's a basement. It's filled with junk, and I have the bicycle set up, and I crank out my music. Off we go.
Adam, it is good. Like, doctors often don't diagnose themselves. I just broke my 1986 Whirlpool wall oven a couple weeks ago. So maybe it's better to have a friend come over and do it for you, because Murphy's Law is a bitch. So what state is Adam live in? We need to get Adam a friend.
I'm not sure. The lag in the comments kills me. I don't know
what. Yeah, because Rob's sarcasm is pretty fresh. So I think that you and I and EJ had a conversation while you were on a bike or something, because there was a lot of heavy breathing and weird and awkward moments that just made it a little distracting for me to help EJ with his challenging question. But was that the case that when we were on that night? Were you riding a bike?
Me? No.
Yeah. Just say yes, because now it's really weird if you say no.
No, I pace. It's the ADHD. I pace back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a big rabbit trail here.
Yeah, it happens. How was your weekend?
My weekend was like organizing the basement. And those are things that I don't put big priorities on, but it is great when you get something done that you can look at the result and be pretty proud. Why do I not get more motivated to do that?
Motivation's crap, by the way, but that's a whole nother podcast.
But there's a couple texts of mine that when you open up the back doors of their vans, I have to put shades on because it's so shiny and clean in there. And I'm just in awe of them, because that's not how I was. But very effective weekend. I'm inspired. I might clean my desk out at work today. I'm still living off the high of cleaning the basement out.
That's awesome.
Is that exciting stuff right there? Cleaning a basement on a rainy weekend?
I mean, it's better than sitting around and doing nothing. So,
Yeah, yes.
We had a good mastermind this weekend. My friend Danielle came in and she was talking budgets with the guys, so it was good. A lot of people learning a lot of things. So this week's theme of money is a great one. Today we are talking, what is that correlation between money and value? Do people value money more? Do they value something else more? What does that look like? So Doug and I are going to kind of share from our perspective how to bring those two in alignment for our teams as well as our customers. And Rob,
I do have a few pairs. There is something to that. Like, I don't know why I get attracted to needle nose pliers, but anyway,
I have one pair and it's broken.
Well, okay. Let me get us going with a morning prayer. Lord God, I thank you for the weekend of motivating me to declutter. Lord, sometimes our lives can be cluttered physically around us in our vans, at our desks, in our houses, in our closets. And other times, Lord, our worldly thoughts, our challenges, our worries, our regrets clutter our mind. God, the best technician in the world is one who can diagnose seamlessly, see the big picture, identify all the issues, focus on the impact of the decision today and tomorrow, and be a great servant to our customers in our business to diagnose properly our next steps, to declutter our minds so that we can be clear minded and choosing our next steps. So, God, I pray that our time today helps us be inspired to clear our minds and to diagnose well all the things in our lives and the people in our lives. And Lord, I lift up Rob Jones to you and I thank you for getting to know him. I appreciate his bravery and willingness to serve in the corporate world. And so we just pray, God, that you continue to guide him, give him strength, help him understand from being a small business owner to working in the corporate world how to be an effective team player and to share his gifts and knowledge. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I'm gonna let you lead this up. You kind of came up with a topic, and I'm gonna follow along on this one.
All right. So if everyone doesn't know, Zach is the chief of this podcast with all us others as hosts, and he dictates the themes. Sometimes he drives me nuts on Sunday night with the theme of dirt, and we're all supposed to be inspired to find something. Money was one that sort of overwhelmed me because there's so many areas to it. But that's what's great about our podcast is every host comes at it from a different angle. So immediately for me, I thought about how often money becomes our destination, right? So as a business, if we were to say, my goal is to make as much money as possible, the problem is that journey is going to be difficult. And I started to think about money and how we perceive money being a bigger priority than it really should be. That's our customers that we go into the house and they're panicked and nervous about whether it's going to need to be replaced or repaired. And it seems like a lot of times customers care about money, but we as great technicians know there's a lot more to it. And that's just one factor. Same thing goes as employees. Employees who, want to make a lot of money need to know how to do that. They need to know how to be effective. They need to identify where they're weak. But a lot of times, sometimes employees go, you're not paying me well enough. And there's the diagnosis, but it might be something deeper, a different issue. But you notice money keeps creeping to the top. How about a dissatisfied employee who's not happy, who wishes they were making more money? Why is it that they're not? Maybe it's things that they're doing or deciding to do. But the answer could be a quick one if we misdiagnose or try to be quick to diagnose is offer them more money. And in the end, it's going to be a callback. In the end, it can ultimately turn into a refund of the customer, the employee leaving or quitting, and you as a business starting over again. So isn't it kind of funny, Zach, how money often becomes what we think is the most important part of making a decision? So that's what I'd like to talk about today. And one other thought, just because it's in my head and I wrote it down and my handwriting is so bad that I'll forget what I wrote in about 2 more minutes. But money is the means to success, right? We need it. But it shouldn't be your dream or your goal. And the way I look at it is if money is the equivalent of a fast car and you get your fast car, where are you heading with it? So money is important, but it can't be the most important thing and in your vision with your vision and your decision making.
Before we dig in too deep in this, the scenario that you were talking about, as far as like, oh, I cancel these jobs because, it's too expensive a repair. For who?
There you go.
Really, how often have we walked into a home or walked into a situation and our own thoughts and impressions are what we put into that person? We don't know who they are. We haven't even asked the question yet.
Mhm.
So how often do we just automatically go, you know what, this is too expensive? Well, that's on us. That's us. That's not necessarily the customer. So it's a change in perspective. As we shift from the money cycle into what are these other values.
But with the gray in your beard and the gray in my hair, we've learned this through experience. But how many people in the community do we know that might have said things like, well, I cover a poorer community, or the towns I service, they don't have any money, or the really rich people are just so cheap. These are all excuses focusing on money and not trying to understand the people better, to get around it. So the money becomes an excuse for not being able to perform, right?
Well, and that was a perfect example. You just highlighted two ends of the spectrum, and
Mhm.
we've heard those excuses time and time again, and it's just someone looking for an excuse is what
Sure.
it comes down to, because
Yeah.
you have, well, the wealthy people, they're cheap, and then you have the poor people, no. Let's begin to change our mindset, our attitudes, and figure out what the customer really values, what's really important. Because maybe it's time.
And again, the only reason why I know these things to not be true is because at one time I thought them and had to continue to evaluate and analyze the situation. Well, why did that rich person have no issue? And why did that person who's really struggling have the cash? And I had to stop with this narrow mindset. I had to start to be more broader. So, for us as people in charge of people, right, Zach? We have to kind of like cut through all that. We can't ignore it. And so again, I guess the point I keep not making is we weren't born this way. We had to learn it on our own, or somebody mentored and coached us. And so we need to be mentors and coaches to our people who jump down that bridge of automatically it's money. And how many times have we judged customers because we go in their house and they're just completely freaked out and panicked about a dishwasher, which you think, wait, my last customer is going through cancer. That's pretty stupid. But that's their life. That's their moment. That's their reality. They chose to be that way. So in that emotion, they're going to focus on the only thing they know well. Well, that seems expensive. Instead of installation, removal, the price of a new one, that wood panel, those raised tiles, that stuff is not on their radar, but that should be on our radar, right? As technicians.
Mm-hmm.
And as employers, we can't just assume paying our techs more money will shut them up and make them happy. So there's this broader diagnosis that has to happen in every category.
Yeah, and we both kind of brought that up earlier as we were talking. I have a salesman that we gave him a little more freedom on his margins, because you said, well, they're just not buying because it's just too expensive. Okay, we'll give you that much more freedom on the price. Okay, he's consistently at the bottom end of his margins now, and his close ratio got like 5% worse.
So you empowered him to
have
dictate
a broader range, right?
And price, and he experimented there. So now the question is will you have a conversation with him and ask him questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did that work out? How do you explain the decrease in margin and hope that things start moving up there in his head, right?
Well, and all the while, like, I just don't, when you're 100% commission, it's you're dependent on the sales that you make. And so if you move to the bottom end of those margins, that moves your percentage as well. That moves your paycheck as well. And that shifts your mindset from the things that matter into how do I get more money? It moves you into a survival mode.
Mhm.
That I've heard that in a couple different podcasts, a couple different books that I've read through. They all kind of talk about that as you shift into that desperate. So you want to make sure people's needs are met. But what are those needs? Right? What are those needs? So specifically in your team, what are those needs? What are the things that they need met? So that money doesn't become the object, right? If money becomes the object, then you do some dumb things, and it doesn't help. It really doesn't help. It actually is more detrimental to you. At least in my observation, it's more detrimental when someone is in that position. They think writing people off, or whatever, like that job's not worth it, like they think that kind of thing. That washer, don't fix it, it's not worth it, let me move on to 8 more calls. They think that's not worth it, but the reality is, if they were to take the time to work with the customer, because their mind is clear, their perceptions, their needs are not being cast onto the customer, then they might have better sales, and then they might have more cash flow in their own life. They might be helping the customer make a better decision. Like these, I'm saying these in mites, but I've seen this play out time and time again. How often have you had a walk that was your own thing? Like it was your own thing. Like it's too expensive. What's it worth? I like that you brought up the other points, right? So time and installation, and like no one thinks about having to go and spend a couple hours in the store shopping. No one thinks about having to wait 3 weeks to have a delivery. No one, like none of those things are taken into account. When you add all that wasted time, all those trips to the laundromat, think about it. Go to the laundromat for 3 weeks while you're waiting for your new washing machine. You could have paid for that repair and bought a new washing machine at the same time by the time you're done with the laundromat.
Yeah. But we do sales as well, but we consider ourselves a service first company and sales second. And I have one salesperson, and she does everything by phone or email with the customer. And early on, she once in a while would call up and go, "Hey, the customer has changed their mind and they want to have it repaired." And why? Well, they started to do the legwork of what it's going to take to replace it, checking price, total price, installation, availability. And we recognize that, Jay and I, the owner. And so we started to, we bonus her $5 for every lead or customer who says, "I think I want to buy a new one." If she converts it back to a repair, then we'll bonus her $5. And every month, a good 5 to 8 customers will change their mind. Whether she had an effectiveness in her answering their new challenges that the technician did not offer them, or maybe the technician was unaware that the model they really, really wanted is a 6-month back order. So I'm not blaming the technician. But it's until you have all your information at hand, you really don't know what the right thing to do is. So what is the responsibility of a technician? To present all those things. So it's like, all right, maybe someone's going, "Yeah, I know a couple of technicians that I work for that have this sort of narrow, broken mindset. How do we break them out of it? How do we do that?" Well, we maybe have to start with the basics and talk about all the other values and things that they need to know that we offer. Like, or how about this? Do you have any customers, Zach, that still know you and call you even though you're not in the appliance repair business because you fix their stuff and they trust you?
Yeah, it doesn't end. It's really frustrating, actually.
Because there's something to having a person that you trust wholeheartedly with something, again, dishwashers and refrigerators and stoves. they're not life and death, but they can overwhelm us in life. And so to have the loyalty and the trust of somebody that can tell you what to do and help you decide the appliance side is way more valuable than saving 50 bucks or overspending $100. So there's the loyalty, there's being unaware of, we discussed all the tricky things that might pop up in trying to replace something, as well as the big picture impact. You know what I love? There's a few people in our industry and our community that their heart is about saving the landfills. It's about helping educate customers on the fact that just because you buy new doesn't mean that you have peace of mind. And if you fix this, you'll get your money back, plus you will do your part in the green category. So presenting all those things that the customer is willing to listen to is doing a much better job than quoting the price and deciding by money.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it still comes back to, are you asking your customer enough questions? Are you understanding where your customers' needs really are? Because maybe they don't have the ability to go to a laundromat. Maybe they can't go to their neighbor's house with, their cold items. Maybe they can't go and eat out for a week while they, wait for a new oven to come. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know unless you ask the questions, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it's I know that if we have a hard time understanding that, or it's not a connection in our brain as people in charge, just think about yourself as a customer, as a patient with a doctor, or a walk-in clinic, or the auto mechanic, or whoever you're a customer for. If they're just minimizing their common communication with you, and they're willing to do whatever you think is the right thing for you, and you're not the expert, a lawyer, that's not a good feeling inside. I mean, how many times dealing with an insurance person or lawyer or something, your gut says, I don't think this person gets it or is sharp enough or is someone that I trust representing me. Why? Because of what you said, Zach. They should be asking a lot of questions. They should be trying to understand our situation really well. And if they don't do that, they might be good, but if they don't do that and it's not part of their presentation, we're going to have concerns and worry, right?
I think of my physical therapist, right? My chiropractor, physical therapist. Asks a lot of questions, like a lot of questions, and I think that the healthcare is one that everyone can understand. Think about going to your general practitioner, right? You go in and you got this laundry list of generic questions, and you're like, well, kind of, not really. How do I answer this? Because it's like a yes or no box. That's a medical professional just trying to do the bare minimum to get the answers to get by. And then you walk into their office and the doctor only has 2.5 seconds to talk to you, and he asks one question, how you feeling today? And that doesn't really help you. But then flip that, and I use my chiropractor and my physical therapist. Okay, so what events are we training for? What's your training load been like? What's your nutrition been like? What's your sleep been like? How's your hydration? Like, and he just goes through this whole list. It's like he has the check form too that kind of helps. But then he goes, okay, well, tell me about this. Like, and he goes through all these questions. Are we doing that with our customers? No matter what field we're in, are we doing that with our customers? Are we understanding how they use? Do you know that single mom is a mom of 5? And she's doing 4 loads a day, and and maybe she's just tired and putting too much soap in, and maybe are we asking the questions to really find out where our customers are in the diagnosis? Because that's just as important. And then, like you said, as the managers and business owners, are we asking those questions of our team? Are we just throwing money at them because we think that's the fix? Or are we truly trying to find out where they stand? Are we trying to actually diagnose what's wrong in their life? Are we trying to diagnose where their mindset might be? Are we asking enough questions?
You can buy time by, you know, throwing stuff on the wall to see what sticks, right? You can lower the price on a repair, but if there's other issues and problems, um, they're going to come back to you and say, "Why didn't you talk to me about that?" That trust and loyalty won't be there. How about this? I'll keep the pronouns out of it so that we don't have factions of parts vendors. But I was very loyal to one parts vendor for almost 15 years. Give them all our business. And in return, I hope that we have a good working relationship, that they'll do whatever they can to help us. At some point, I had a shift in my rep, and the new rep just didn't care. And or it just seemed like he didn't care. And so guess what? I started to split my revenue amongst multiple partners. And you know what? 2 years later, finally, that rep came to my building the other day, and we had our normal chit chat. And then he said, "So what can we do to make you better, to be better partners with you to help your customers?" I tell you, Zach, that question right there shows me that he cares, that he's in diagnostic mode, and that he wants to help us succeed. Why? So he can get some money, but there's a partnership feeling there. So I definitely agree with you. Asking questions shows that you care and that you are doing a deep dive and figuring out what is the right thing to do, for sure. So that's a great example. And it's interesting because I just threw whatever was on my mind that I don't even think they can do, like bring some training to my building. And he's like, "Let me see what I can do." And I'm like, "Woohoo. If this works, this is great." But that's true problem solving. How can I get Action Appliances business? Let me find out what they need by asking questions. Love it, Zach.
In the audience, it wasn't about money. He said,
No.
"Bring me training."
Yes.
How do we partner with our customers? It's not
Yeah.
about money.
Yeah.
I threw a sales rep. I completely threw him out of our building.
Chicago guy.
It wasn't about money.
Yeah.
Misquoted the price on the phone. From the price sheet that they sent us, I'm looking at the price sheet that they sent to us the day before, and they're quoting like $2 a square foot more cost. Okay, that's fine. I can understand that, but that's a little sketch. I can't order it online. I can't find pictures of it online. Like, the entire ordering process is a nightmare, and I'm trying to convey this. And all the rep heard was, "Oh, well, we'll lower the price. We'll give you free shipping." You missed the point. Ordering from you is a headache.
Yeah.
I don't trust your knowledge in your own product. In the end, I let price be the dictation, right? I found the product for $100 less through Menards, where the ordering process was easy, communication was upfront, and I didn't have any headache. And I've trusted Menards before because I was able to order stuff from them and it showed up when they said it would show up. So the final factor was price, but it wasn't the main factor.
But you know what's fun about your example, Zach, is if we assume the best about the rep, he might know that already about the company that he works for. He might already know these weaknesses, and his only tool is to raise the price and lower the price at first objection. And who knows, you booting him out may have been feedback that he brought back to his bosses, said, "I can't do this for you because we're unorganized. We're broken in so many ways. Price is not good." Who knows? You might have made that company potentially better, or he's looking for a new job.
As a good customer.
Yeah.
Because they, again, ignored everything that I said and continued to process an order. So not listening, by the way.
That's right.
So, like, I don't know, there's 15 people CC'd on this email, right? reply all.
Mm.
Please cancel this order. First of all, you're expensive. Second of all, and most importantly, your ordering process is a headache. You're unorganized and your communication is terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you. As the ordering agent and as someone else in another company, it has me looking at our process for our customers. What are we doing that is painful for our customers? So thank you for the example of like diagnosing what we're doing that could be painful to our customer base. I hope you guys diagnose what's painful to your customer base. I hope this helps you get better. And I sent that to, I don't know, there's 15 emails on there.
Well, it's a journey. It's a journey. Now, back to people that we care about and we're trying to invest into, right? The importance here is diagnosing efficiently from a leadership perspective, right? We have to make sure that while we're focusing our energies everywhere, that we don't throw money at a problem, because it will often not solve the problem. You're just prolonging something. And so it is important to get to the heart of understanding. And we have currently we have 15 technicians, and they're all pretty good, and they all excel in certain areas, and some are struggle in different areas. Everyone's different. And so we, or you and your team, you have to get to know your people so well and know what they're great at so that you can celebrate with them, and then pick a weakness that they struggle with and focus on it. But we need to diagnose our relationships with our teams really well. And it takes time. And you may or may not have the resources or the people to do that, but just be cautious and be as thorough as you can in diagnosing an issue with your technicians or your call takers. Same thing with the call takers, right? How much is it to come out? They're cutting off the script midway through. All I need to know is, what do you charge to come out? $149.95. No, thank you. Hangs up. That's it's something that we have to overcome. Like you said, where are we letting our customers down? So before answering the $149.95, we've added some scripting to say, give me your zip code, and I'll let you know. And then you lead with, before I give it to you, I'm looking it up right now. I want you to know that we've been around since 1961. We give you a 5-year part warranty on all parts that we install. And within 90 days, if there's any problems, we give you all your money back, but the service fee. And in your zip code, it's $149.95. We saw a change there. These people that were hypersensitive or just emotionally charged, we had to kind of sneak that in there to hopefully get through to them before they impulsively move on to the guy who charges the cheapest price and may or may not give great service, right? So it's a craft, just like us coaching our people. You have people that you have to coach at your place, and asking those questions to understand them better. Wouldn't it be better if they could figure it out for themselves through you asking them questions? That ultimately is a self-discovery, instead of them hearing us go, I've been there, buddy. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm sure you're thinking this and you're thinking that. Yeah, how'd you know? Stop. Don't think that. It's all wrong. Okay, but I'm not giving them the progress. I'm not giving them the tools to more than just believe me by faith, but by figuring it out on their own. So it's really a deep dive psychology in helping our people, right?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's all about the questions. I love it. I love it.
Columbo. I'm going to get an overcoat jacket and a hat, although Rob would call me a creeper, so maybe I won't. Never mind.
Well, if you guys enjoy these topics, if you enjoy accelerating your business, learning more, digging in, and just making your company the best company that's out there, register for the business one day. If you're over on the East Coast, we're leading it up. We have a couple great sessions. Excuse me. Go check it out on servicealliancegroup.com. Registration banner is at the top. The schedule is all laid out. There's a ton of great topics for a one-day conference over there on the East Coast. Don't go flying across the country for it. We're looking to do more regional stuff. So if you're over on the East Coast, join us in Richmond in December. It's going to be a good time. So that's what I got today.
I think I heard like a rumor that you guys have some beard product, free beard product with every registration. Since all you appliance guys have beards.
Oh, Doug.
You have like a conditioner. What if you have like an Appliance Alliance beard oil? What do you think? I'm coming up with great ideas.
We should brand that. Yeah. There you go.
Have a
All
great
right,
week.
guys. We'll see you next time on the grind.